Hello, and welcome to 7 Simple Steps to Start Investing in Your 20s. I'm your host, and I'm genuinely excited that you've chosen to tune in and take this foundational step toward building a secure financial future. If you're in your 20s, the idea of investing might feel like something you should worry about much later. Retirement feels like a lifetime away, and let's be honest, you have a lot on your plate right now. You're juggling student loans, rent, launching a career, and trying to maintain some semblance of a social life. The thought of putting money away for a future that's decades down the road can seem abstract, and frankly, a little overwhelming. But I'm here to tell you something that might change your perspective entirely. The most powerful tool you have for building wealth isn't some secret stock tip or a complicated financial algorithm. It's time. And right now, in your 20s, you have more of it than you ever will again. This decade is your golden ticket. It's the launch pad that can propel you toward financial independence with far less effort than you might imagine. So, get comfortable, and let's explore why your 20s are, without a doubt, the most crucial and powerful time to begin your investment journey. We'll uncover a simple yet magical concept that will become your greatest ally: compound interest. Let's begin with a simple story to illustrate this point. Picture two friends, both 25 years old. Let's call them Maya and Ben. Both share the dream of having $1 million saved by the time they retire at age 65. Maya decides to start investing immediately. She commits to setting aside just $300 every month into a straightforward investment account that earns an average annual return of 8%. Now, that 8% figure isn't just pulled out of thin air. It's a historically reasonable average return for the U.S. stock market over long periods. Ben, on the other hand, decides to wait. He thinks he has plenty of time, wants to enjoy his income now, and plans to get serious about investing in his 30s. True to his word, at age 35, a full decade after Maya, Ben starts investing. He knows he's behind, so he understands he needs to invest a larger amount to catch up. To reach that same goal of $1 million by age 65, Ben calculates that he needs to invest over $800 a month. That's nearly 3 times the amount Maya is contributing. Let that sink in for a moment. They both reach the same financial destination, but Maya's path was significantly smoother and less demanding. She invested less of her own money over the course of her life and felt a much smaller financial impact each month. What's the secret behind this massive difference? It's a force that Albert Einstein reportedly called the 8th wonder of the world: compound interest. Compound interest is the interest you earn not just on your initial investment, but also on the interest that has already accumulated. It creates a snowball effect. When you invest, your money earns a return. The following year, you earn a return on your original investment plus the earnings from that first year. As time goes on, this cycle begins to accelerate. Your money starts to work for you, generating its own earnings, which then go on to generate even more earnings. In your 20s, you have a runway of 40 years or more for this incredible process to unfold. Every single dollar you invest has 4 decades to grow, multiply, and compound. This is precisely why Maya's small, consistent investments could blossom into such a substantial nest egg. The money she invested in her very first year had a full 40 years to work its magic. For Ben, who started at 35, his earliest investments only had 30 years. That single decade of waiting made a monumental difference, forcing him to sacrifice much more of his income to achieve the same result. The financial foundation you lay in your 20s provides you with unparalleled freedom later in life. It can translate into a down payment on a home, the capital to launch your own business, the ability to travel the world, or simply the peace of mind that comes with having a financial safety net. Starting early isn't just a defensive play to ensure a comfortable retirement. It's a powerful offensive strategy to actively build the life you've always envisioned for yourself. Now, I can already hear some of you thinking, this all sounds great, but I'm living paycheck to paycheck. I simply don't have hundreds of dollars to spare. This is one of the most significant mental roadblocks for young investors, and it's an entirely understandable concern. The belief that you need a substantial amount of money to start investing is a persistent and damaging myth. It keeps countless people on the sidelines while their most valuable asset, time, quietly slips away. Let's dismantle this myth right here and now. You do not need to be wealthy to begin investing. You don't need thousands or even hundreds of dollars saved up. Thanks to incredible advancements in financial technology, you can start with as little as $5 or $10. Most modern brokerage platforms now offer something called fractional shares. This means you can purchase a small slice of a high-priced stock, like Google or Tesla, without needing to afford the full price of a single share. The crucial element isn't the amount you start with, it's the habit you build. The most important thing is simply to get started. Think of it like starting a new fitness routine. You wouldn't tell yourself, I'm not going to the gym until I can bench press 200 pounds. That would be absurd. You start with a weight you can manage, and you gradually build your strength from there. The exact same principle applies to investing. Take an honest look at your monthly expenses. Where is your money going? Could you cancel one streaming service you rarely use? Perhaps you could make your coffee at home a few times a week instead of buying it. That $15 or $25 you free up might not seem like a game changer, but when you invest it, you're planting a seed. It may be a very small seed, but with 40 years of time and the nourishing power of compound interest, it can grow into a towering tree. The immediate goal isn't to strike it rich overnight. It's to cultivate the discipline of paying yourself first. This means you treat your investment contribution like any other essential bill. Before you pay for rent, your cell phone, or a night out with friends, you set aside a small, manageable amount for your future self, even if it's just $20 a month. By doing this, you're making a powerful statement. Your financial future is a priority. You're building an invaluable habit that will benefit you for the rest of your life. As your income inevitably grows throughout your career, you can slowly and comfortably increase the amount you invest. So, let's make a commitment to banish the thought that you need to be rich to invest. The time to start is now, and the amount to start with is whatever you can comfortably afford. We've established that starting early is your superpower and that you don't need a fortune to begin. However, there's another common fear that often paralyzes people in their 20s, a fear of the stock market itself. We're constantly bombarded with dramatic news headlines about market crashes and stories of people who lost everything. The entire world of investing can sound incredibly complex and risky. It's important to acknowledge that investing in the stock market does involve risk. The value of your investments will fluctuate. There will be good days and bad days. That is the inherent nature of the market. But this brings us to another secret weapon you possess in your 20s, a naturally high tolerance for risk. When you're young, you have a long time horizon. This simply means that you have decades to recover from any market downturns that may occur. Financial history has consistently shown that while the stock market can be volatile in the short term, its long-term trend has been overwhelmingly upward. The periods of growth have far surpassed the periods of decline. Imagine you invest some money, and the very next year, the market drops by 20%. If you were planning to retire that year, that would be a catastrophic event. But as a 25-year-old, a market downturn is actually an opportunity. A decline in the market means that stocks are essentially on sale. Your consistent investment contributions can now buy more shares for the same amount of money. And because you have decades before you'll need to access this money, you have ample time for the market to recover and continue its long-term growth trajectory. Think of it this way. You wouldn't stop shopping at your favorite clothing store just because they announced a 30% off sale, would you? Of course not. You'd likely see it as a great opportunity to buy that jacket you've been wanting. This is precisely how you should view market downturns in your 20s. They are buying opportunities. The key to success is to avoid making emotional decisions. It's crucial not to panic and sell your investments when the market is down. Similarly, you should avoid getting greedy and chasing after hot stocks when the market is soaring. The most successful investors are those who adopt a disciplined, long-term perspective. They create a sound investment plan, they contribute consistently through market highs and lows, and they allow time and the proven power of the market to do the heavy lifting for them. In the chapters to come, we'll delve into the specifics of what to invest in, focusing on simple and effective tools like index funds and ETFs that help you diversify and manage risk. But for now, the most important lesson is this: do not let fear hold you back. Arm yourself with knowledge, understand that volatility is a natural part of the investment process, and have confidence in the long-term growth potential of the market. Your youth gives you the unique and powerful advantage of being able to weather any short-term storms and emerge in a far stronger financial position in the future. And that brings us to the close of our first chapter. We've learned that time is your most valuable asset, and that the magic of compound interest is the engine that can turn small, regular investments into life-changing wealth. We've debunked the myth that you need a lot of money to get started, and we've discussed why your youth makes you uniquely positioned to handle market volatility. You are now equipped with the most critical piece of the investing puzzle, the why. Why it is so imperative to start now, not later. In our next chapter, we'll shift our focus to the how. We'll discuss the first actionable step you need to take: setting clear, meaningful, and achievable financial goals. Because as the old saying goes, if you don't know where you're going, any road will get you there. We want to make sure you're on the express route to achieving your financial dreams. Thank you for joining me. I encourage you to spend some time this week reflecting on what we've discussed. Go online and play with a compound interest calculator. It's a truly eye-opening experience. Get ready to take the next step on your journey to financial freedom. Until next time, welcome back to 7 Simple Steps to Start Investing in Your 20s. In our last chapter, we established the single most important reason to start your investment journey right now: the incredible power of time and compound interest. We learned that starting early is your financial superpower, allowing small, consistent contributions to grow into significant wealth over the decades. Now that you understand the why, it's time to focus on the what. What exactly are you investing for? Imagine getting into your car, turning on the engine, and just starting to drive with no destination in mind. You might see some interesting sights, but you'll likely waste a lot of gas and end up somewhere you never intended to be. Investing without clear goals is exactly like that. It's movement without direction. To build wealth effectively, you need a map. You need a destination. In this chapter, we're going to learn how to draw that map by setting clear, powerful, and achievable financial goals. This is the step that transforms the abstract idea of saving for the future into a concrete, motivating, and actionable plan. So, why is setting a goal so important? It might seem like an obvious step, but its psychological impact is profound. Firstly, goals provide motivation. On days when you'd rather spend that extra $50 on takeout or a new video game, remembering your goal, whether it's a down payment on a future home or a trip around the world, gives you a powerful reason to stick to your plan. It connects your small, everyday financial decisions to a much larger, more exciting future. It answers the crucial question, why am I doing this? Secondly, goals provide clarity. When you have a specific target, it becomes much easier to make decisions. You can work backward from your goal to figure out exactly how much you need to save each month. It helps you choose the right type of investments and the right level of risk. Without a goal, you're just guessing. With a goal, you're executing a strategy. To make our goals truly effective, we can use a simple but incredibly powerful framework used by top achievers in business, sports, and personal development. It's called the SMART framework. This acronym will become your best friend in turning vague dreams into tangible realities. Let's break down what each letter stands for. S is for specific. Your goal must be clear and well-defined. Vague goals like, I want to be rich, or I want to invest more, are not helpful. A specific goal sounds like, I want to save enough money for a 20% down payment on a condominium in my city. Or, I want to build a retirement fund of $1 million. Get as detailed as you can. What exactly do you want to achieve? M is for measurable. You need to be able to track your progress. This is where you attach numbers to your goals. A down payment becomes $30,000 for a down payment. A retirement fund becomes $1 million. When your goal is measurable, you know exactly how far you've come and how far you have left to go. This provides feedback and helps keep you motivated along the way. A is for achievable. This is a crucial one. While it's great to dream big, your goals must be realistic given your current financial situation. If you're earning $45,000 a year, setting a goal to save $500,000 in 2 years is not achievable and will only lead to frustration and burnout. The key is to set goals that stretch you but don't break you. A more achievable goal might be, I will save and invest $3,000 in the next 12 months. Once you hit that goal, you build confidence and can set a slightly bigger one for the following year. R is for relevant. Your goal has to matter to you. Don't set a goal to save for a house just because it's what your parents or friends think you should do. Your financial goals should align with your personal values and the life you want to live. Is your passion to travel? Then maybe your goal is to save $10,000 for a 6-month backpacking trip. Do you dream of being your own boss? Your goal could be to save $25,000 in seed money for a startup. When a goal is deeply relevant to your own aspirations, your commitment to achieving it will be 100 times stronger. Finally, T is for time-bound. Every goal needs a target date. A deadline creates a sense of urgency and prevents procrastination. It's the difference between, I want to save for a down payment, and, I want to save $30,000 for a down payment in the next 5 years. A time-bound goal allows you to break it down into smaller, more manageable pieces. If your goal is $30,000 in 5 years, you know you need to save $6,000 per year, or $500 per month. Suddenly, that big, intimidating number becomes a simple, monthly action step. Now that we have the SMART framework, let's organize our goals by their timeline. This is critical because different timelines require different investment strategies. Generally, we can categorize our goals into 3 buckets: short-term, mid-term, and long-term. First, let's talk about short-term goals. These are things you want to achieve within the next 1 to 3 years. A classic example is building an emergency fund, which is a crucial first step for everyone. This is a stash of cash, typically 3 to 6 months' worth of living expenses, set aside for unexpected events like a job loss or a medical emergency. Other short-term goals could be saving for a big vacation, a new car, or a professional development course. For these goals, the money needs to be safe and easily accessible. Therefore, you generally should not invest your short-term savings in the stock market. The risk of the market being down right when you need the cash is too high. Instead, this money belongs in a high-yield savings account where it's protected from market fluctuations but can still earn a bit more interest than a traditional checking account. Next, we have mid-term goals. These are typically for things you want to accomplish in the next 3 to 10 years. This is often the time frame for saving for a down payment on a home, funding a wedding, or accumulating capital to start a business. Since you have a longer time horizon than your short-term goals, you can afford to take on a little more risk for the potential of higher returns. For these goals, a balanced investment portfolio, perhaps a mix of stocks and bonds, could be appropriate. You're giving your money a chance to grow more significantly, but you're still being somewhat conservative because the goal is not decades away. Finally, we have your long-term goals. These are goals that are 10 years or more in the future. The ultimate long-term goal for most people is, of course, retirement. This is where you can truly unleash the power of the stock market and compound interest that we talked about in Chapter 1. Because you have decades before you'll need to touch this money, you can afford to take on more risk by investing more heavily in stocks. You have plenty of time to ride out any market downturns, which, as we learned, are normal and expected over a long investment horizon. This is the money that will be working the hardest for you over your lifetime, growing and compounding to build substantial wealth for your future. So, let's bring this all together with an actionable step you can take this week. I want you to set aside just 20 minutes. Find a quiet space, grab a notebook or open a document on your computer, and draw your map. Using the SMART framework, write down at least one goal for each of the three categories. One short-term goal. Maybe it's, I will save $2,000 for an emergency fund within the next 10 months by setting aside $200 each month. One mid-term goal. Perhaps it's, I will save $25,000 for a down payment on a house within the next 7 years. And one long-term goal. I will open a retirement account and contribute at least $150 per month for the next year, with the goal of increasing that amount as my income grows. Don't just think about them, write them down. The act of writing down your goals makes them real. It makes them tangible. This written document will become your financial roadmap, a guide that you can refer back to any time you need a reminder of where you're going and why you started this journey in the first place. That's a wrap on Chapter 2. We've learned that setting goals provides the motivation and clarity needed to invest successfully. We've equipped ourselves with a powerful SMART framework to turn vague dreams into specific, actionable targets. And we've learned how to categorize our goals into short, mid, and long-term buckets, which will help us choose the right strategies down the line. You now have your why from Chapter 1 and your what from this chapter. In our next session, we're going to get into the nitty-gritty. Now that you know where you want to go, we need to figure out how much fuel you have to get there. We'll be talking about the essential step of understanding your cash flow and creating a simple, flexible budget that works for you, not against you. Thank you for listening. Take that time to write down your goals, and I'll see you in the next chapter. Welcome back to 7 Simple Steps to Start Investing in Your 20s. In our first chapter, we uncovered the why, harnessing the incredible power of time to let your money grow. In Chapter 2, we defined the what, creating a roadmap with clear, SMART financial goals. You now know why you're investing and what you're investing for. This brings us to the next logical and crucial question. Where, exactly, does this investment money come from? The answer lies in mastering a word that makes many people cringe: budgeting. Now, before you tune out, I want you to forget every negative idea you have about that word. Forget the complex spreadsheets, the feeling of restriction, or the guilt of tracking every penny. We're going to reframe budgeting for what it truly is: a tool of empowerment. It's not a financial diet designed to make you miserable. It's a diagnostic tool that gives you awareness and, ultimately, control over your money. It's the bridge that connects your daily spending habits to the amazing future goals you just set for yourself. So, let's dive in and learn how to create a simple, flexible financial plan that fuels your journey, rather than holding you back. The first and most important step in creating any plan is to understand your starting point. You simply cannot manage what you don't measure. So, for the next few minutes, we're going to put on our detective hats and do some fact-finding. The mission is simple: find out where your money is actually going. This is a judgment-free exercise. The goal isn't to make you feel bad about that daily coffee or the subscription boxes you forgot you had. The goal is pure awareness. There are a couple of easy ways to do this. The modern approach is to use a budgeting app or an online tool. Many banks have these features built right into their apps, automatically tracking and categorizing your spending for you. Other popular apps can link to all of your accounts and give you a complete picture in one place. If you prefer a more hands-on approach, you can simply pull up your bank and credit card statements from the last 1 or 2 months. Go through them line by line and group your purchases into broad categories like groceries, rent, utilities, dining out, and entertainment. You will likely be surprised by what you find. It's common to discover that small, seemingly insignificant purchases add up to a substantial amount over a month. That $4 coffee every workday is over $80 a month. Those 3 streaming services you barely use could be another $40. Again, the point isn't that these are bad expenses. The point is to have the data. This data is your power. It reveals the patterns and habits that make up your financial life, and once you can see them clearly, you can start to make conscious decisions about them. Once you've tracked your spending and have a clear picture of where your money went, it's time for the analysis phase. This is where we organize that data into a simple, powerful framework. The easiest way to do this is to divide your expenses into 3 main categories: needs, wants, and savings. First, let's identify your needs. These are the essential, must-have expenses required to live. Think of them as the foundation of your budget. This category includes things like rent or mortgage payments, student loan payments, basic utilities like electricity and water, groceries, transportation to work, and insurance. These are typically the expenses you have the least amount of control over on a month-to-month basis. Next, we have your wants. This category covers everything else, the non-essential items and services that make life more enjoyable. This includes dining out at restaurants, your Netflix and Spotify subscriptions, buying new clothes, going to the movies, hobbies, and travel. This is the area of your budget where you have the most flexibility and control. It's also the area where most people find the extra money to redirect toward their goals without making painful sacrifices. The final category, and the one we want to focus on growing, is savings and investments. Right now, this category might be very small or even empty, and that's perfectly okay. This is the portion of your income that you will intentionally set aside to build your emergency fund, save for that down payment, and invest for your retirement, the money that is actively working toward the goals you set in the last chapter. Now, with your spending laid out in these 3 categories, you can start to see where the opportunities are. You can ask yourself important questions. Is my spending on wants aligned with my values and my goals? Am I getting enough joy from this expense to justify its cost, or would I be happier putting that money toward my future? With awareness and analysis complete, we move to the action phase, creating a simple, forward-looking plan. For this, I recommend a popular and incredibly effective guideline known as the 50/30/20 rule. It's a fantastic starting point for creating a balanced budget. Here's how it works. You aim to allocate your after-tax income into 3 buckets. 50% is for your needs. Half of your take-home pay should cover all your essential living expenses, your rent, utilities, groceries, and transportation. 30% is for your wants. This is your guilt-free spending money. This allocation gives you explicit permission to enjoy your life. It allows you to go out with friends, buy that new book, or save up for a weekend trip without feeling like you're derailing your financial future. Budgeting doesn't mean you can't have fun. It means you have a plan for your fun. And the most important part, 20% is for savings and investments. A full fifth of your income is dedicated to paying your future self. This is the money that will build your emergency fund, pay down high-interest debt, and be invested to grow and compound over time. This 20% is your direct line to achieving the goals you set in Chapter 2. Now, it's crucial to understand that the 50/30/20 rule is a guideline, not a rigid law. If you live in a high cost of living city, your needs might be closer to 60%. If you're aggressively paying down debt, you might choose to shrink your wants to 20% to free up more cash. The beauty is in its simplicity and flexibility. Tweak the percentages to fit your life, but always prioritize dedicating a consistent portion of your income to your savings and investments. The single most effective way to ensure you hit that savings target is to embrace the principle of pay yourself first. This simple habit is a complete game changer. It means you treat your savings contribution like your most important bill. Instead of saving what's left over at the end of the month, you save first and learn to live on the rest. Here's how you do it. Log into your bank account and set up an automatic, recurring transfer. The day you get paid, have a set amount, whether it's 5%, 10%, or the full 20% of your paycheck, automatically moved from your checking account into a separate savings or investment account. This one action removes willpower, discipline, and memory from the equation. The money for your future is saved before you even have a chance to spend it on something else. This is how you put your financial goals on autopilot and guarantee you're always making progress. And that concludes Chapter 3. We've demystified budgeting, transforming it from a restrictive chore into a powerful tool for awareness and control. We learned how to track our spending, categorize it into needs and wants, and create a simple forward-looking plan using the 50/30/20 rule as our guide. Most importantly, we learned the game-changing habit of paying yourself first by automating our savings. You are now armed with a plan to consistently free up cash for your financial goals. So what's next? Now that you have the money, where do you put it? In our next chapter, we'll dive into the practical world of investment accounts. We'll break down the alphabet soup of 401(k)s, Roth IRAs, and brokerage accounts, helping you understand which accounts are right for you and how to open them. Thank you for tuning in. Your homework is to track your spending and set up that automatic transfer. Pay yourself first. I'll see you in the next chapter. Welcome back to 7 Simple Steps to Start Investing in Your 20s. We have come a long way in a short time. You've harnessed your why by understanding the power of time. You've defined your what by setting clear and meaningful goals. And in our last chapter, you learned how to find money by creating a simple budget and, most importantly, setting up a system to pay yourself first. You should now have money consistently flowing from your paycheck into a separate savings account, ready to be put to work. This leads us to the big question: where does that money go now? A standard savings account is great for an emergency fund, but it's not designed for the long-term growth we're aiming for. To do that, you need a special kind of account, an investment account. Think of it like a basket. This basket doesn't grow your money itself, but it's what you use to hold the things that do, like stocks, bonds, and funds. Today, we are going to demystify the world of investment accounts. We'll break down the 3 most common and powerful options for beginners: the 401(k), the Roth IRA, and the standard brokerage account. By the end of this chapter, you'll know exactly which tools are right for you. Let's start with the first account many of you will encounter: the 401(k). Think of this as the workplace powerhouse. A 401(k) is a retirement savings plan sponsored by your employer. If your company offers one, it's one of the most powerful wealth-building tools you have at your disposal, and it comes with a feature that is practically magical: the company match. This is a concept you need to fully understand because it is the closest thing you will ever get to free money. Here's how it works. Your employer will often offer to match your contributions up to a certain percentage of your salary. A common example is a company that matches 100% of your contributions up to the first 5% of your salary. This means if you earn $50,000 a year and you contribute 5% of your salary, that's $2,500, your company will put an additional $2,500 of their own money into your account for you. For free. You have instantly doubled your money and earned a 100% return on your investment without taking any market risk. There is no other investment in the world that offers a guaranteed return like this. This leads to the golden rule of investing in your 20s. If your employer offers a 401(k) with a company match, your absolute first financial priority should be to contribute enough to get the full match. Not doing so is literally turning down a portion of your salary. The other key benefit of a traditional 401(k) is its tax advantage. Your contributions are pre-tax, meaning the money is taken out of your paycheck before federal and state income taxes are calculated. This lowers your taxable income for the year, which means you pay less in taxes today. You'll pay taxes on the money when you withdraw it in retirement, but for now, it helps your money grow faster and reduces your current tax bill. Getting started is usually a simple process through your company's HR department or an online portal. What if your employer doesn't offer a 401k? Or what if you're self-employed? Or maybe you're already getting your company match and want to save even more for retirement. This is where our second tool comes in, the IRA, or Individual Retirement Arrangement. Think of this as your personal retirement plan. An IRA is an account that you open and control completely on your own, through a brokerage firm. IRAs come in two main flavors, but the one I want to emphasize for almost everyone in their 20s is the Roth IRA. The Roth IRA is one of the most incredible wealth-building tools ever created, especially for young investors. Here's why. You contribute money that you've already paid taxes on, your regular take-home pay. The magic happens down the road. All of the growth your investments generate over the decades, and every single penny you withdraw in retirement, is 100% tax-free. Let's think about that. You could contribute for 40 years, grow your account to $1 million or more, and when you start taking that money out at age 65, you will not owe the government a single dime in taxes on it. This is a massive advantage when you're young because you are likely in a lower tax bracket now than you will be at the peak of your career. You're choosing to pay taxes on your small seed contributions now, so you don't have to pay taxes on your giant harvest of earnings later. The other flavor is the traditional IRA, which works like a 401k. You get a tax deduction today on your contributions and pay taxes on withdrawals in retirement. While it's a good option for some, the tax-free growth of the Roth IRA is simply too good for most young people to pass up. There are annual limits on how much you can contribute to an IRA, which change periodically, so a quick search for current year IRA contribution limit will give you the exact number. Okay, so we have the 401k and the Roth IRA. Which one do you use? And in what order? This can be confusing. So here is a simple, step-by-step priority list that will serve you well. Step 1. Contribute to your company's 401k just enough to get the full employer match. Never, ever leave this free money on the table. Step 2. After you've secured your full match, shift your focus and contribute to a Roth IRA until you hit the annual contribution limit. Step 3. If you are a super saver and have maxed out your Roth IRA for the year and still have more money you want to invest for retirement, then you go back to your 401k and increase your contribution percentage there, up to its much higher annual limit. This simple three-step hierarchy, first the match, then the Roth, then back to the 401k, is an incredibly effective strategy that optimizes for both free money and tax-free growth. Finally, what about your non-retirement goals? What about that house down payment you want in 7 years? This is where our third tool comes in, the standard brokerage account, also known as a taxable investment account. Think of this as the flexible investor account. A brokerage account is a general-purpose investment account. It has no special tax benefits and no restrictions on when you can withdraw your money. You can put in as much as you want and take it out whenever you need it. This makes it the perfect vehicle for your mid-term financial goals. Because there are no tax breaks, you will have to pay taxes on your investment gains. When you sell an investment for a profit, that profit is subject to capital gains tax. But the flexibility it offers is essential for goals that don't fit neatly into a retirement timeline. And there you have it. You are now equipped with the knowledge to choose the right tools for your financial journey. To recap, the 401k is your workplace powerhouse, and your first priority is to capture that company match. The Roth IRA is your personal retirement plan, offering you the incredible gift of tax-free growth. And the brokerage account is your flexible tool for all the important mid-term goals in your life. Your action step for this chapter is to take action. If you have a 401k at work, log in and make sure you are contributing enough to get the full match. If you don't have one or are already getting the match, research and open a Roth IRA at a reputable, low-cost brokerage firm. Now that you know which accounts to use, we've reached the final piece of the puzzle. What do you actually buy inside these accounts? In our next chapter, we will finally answer that question. We'll explore the simple, proven, and low-cost investment options, like index funds and ETFs, that will allow you to build a diversified portfolio and put your money to work. Thank you for listening. Welcome back to 7 Simple Steps to Start Investing in Your 20s. I want you to take a moment and acknowledge how far you've come. You know why you're investing, you know what you're investing for, you have a plan to find the money, and you've selected the right accounts to house your investments. You are standing at the final door. Behind it lies the action of actually putting your money to work. This can be the most intimidating step of all. When you log into that new investment account, you're faced with a seemingly infinite menu of options. Thousands of individual stocks, bonds, and confusingly named funds. It feels like you're expected to be an expert stock analyst overnight. But I'm here to tell you a secret that Wall Street might not want you to know. Successful investing doesn't have to be complicated. You do not need to find the next Amazon or Tesla to build incredible wealth. In fact, for 99% of people, trying to pick individual stocks is a losing game. Today, we're going to bypass all that complexity and noise, and I'm going to introduce you to a simple, elegant, and incredibly powerful strategy that will become the engine of your wealth-building machine. We're going to learn about the magic of owning the entire haystack instead of searching for the needle. First, let's talk about why trying to pick individual stocks is so difficult. The media loves to glorify the stories of people who invested early in a company that went on to change the world. What we don't hear about are the thousands of other companies that stagnated, were acquired, or went out of business entirely. For every winner, there are countless losers. Even professional, full-time fund managers, with all their research teams and sophisticated algorithms, overwhelmingly fail to beat the overall market average over the long term. If the highly paid experts can't reliably do it, it's not a winning strategy for a beginner to try. Trying to pick individual stocks means you are taking on concentrated risk. If that one company you bet on fails, your investment can go to zero. It requires constant research, a deep understanding of financial statements, and an ability to stomach extreme volatility. It's stressful, time-consuming, and for most people, ultimately less profitable than the simple alternative we're about to discuss. The real path to long-term success isn't about picking winners. It's about avoiding the need to pick winners at all. So, if we're not trying to find the single needle in the haystack, what's the alternative? It's simple. We buy the entire haystack. We do this with an amazing invention called the index fund. An index fund is a type of mutual fund that doesn't have a manager trying to pick hot stocks. Instead, its goal is to simply own all the stocks in a particular market index and match its performance. The most famous index is the S&P 500. This is a list of the 500 largest and most influential public companies in the United States. So, when you buy a share of an S&P 500 index fund, you are not buying one stock. You are buying a single, simple product that instantly gives you a tiny piece of ownership in all 500 of those companies. With one click, you own a sliver of Apple, a piece of Microsoft, a fraction of Amazon, a bit of Google, and 496 other industry-leading businesses. This approach has 3 massive advantages. The first is instant diversification. Since you own a little bit of everything, you're not reliant on the success of any single company. If one company has a bad year, it's balanced out by the hundreds of others that are doing well. Your risk is spread incredibly wide. You are no longer betting on a single company. You are betting on the long-term growth and innovation of the U.S. economy as a whole, which has historically been a very good bet. The second advantage is extremely low cost. Because index funds are passively managed, a computer is simply buying the stocks on the index list. They don't have to pay a team of expensive analysts. This means the fees they charge, known as the expense ratio, are incredibly low. This is a bigger deal than it sounds. Even a 1% difference in fees can cost you tens or even hundreds of thousands of dollars in lost returns over your lifetime. Keeping your costs low is a critical and easy win. The third advantage is proven performance. As I mentioned, study after study has shown that over long periods, a simple, low-cost index fund will outperform the majority of its high-fee, actively managed counterparts. The simple strategy is the winning strategy. You will also hear about a very close cousin to the index fund, called an ETF or exchange-traded fund. For our purposes as beginner long-term investors, you can think of them as being virtually identical in their function. ETFs also hold a basket of stocks, offering the same powerful benefits of instant diversification and low costs. You can buy a total stock market ETF or an S&P 500 ETF and achieve the exact same result as buying the index fund version. The main technical difference is that ETFs can be bought and sold throughout the day like an individual stock, while mutual funds are priced just once at the end of the day. Honestly, for someone who is buying and holding for decades, this difference is completely irrelevant. Both are excellent tools. Don't get paralyzed by the choice. Pick one and move forward. So, how do you put this into practice? Let's build a dead simple starter portfolio. For the ultimate beginner who wants to get started right away, you can use a one-fund portfolio. All you need is a single broad market index fund or ETF. A fantastic choice is a total stock market index fund. This fund goes even broader than the S&P 500 and buys you a piece of nearly every publicly traded company in the US, including large, mid-size, and small companies. It is the ultimate buy the haystack fund. An S&P 500 index fund is another perfect choice to get started. Once you're comfortable, you might consider adding one more fund for even greater diversification, an international stock market index fund. This gives you ownership in thousands of companies outside the United States, in both developed and emerging markets. This way, you're not just betting on the US economy, but on the global economy. A simple and effective portfolio could be 80% in a US total stock market fund and 20% in an international stock market fund. And that's it. That simple two-fund portfolio is more diversified and will likely outperform what most financial professionals build for their clients. It's all you need for your long-term retirement goals. The most important ingredient to making this work is consistency. Your strategy is not to guess when the market is going to go up or down. Your strategy is to invest the same amount of money every single month, whether the market is making headlines for hitting all-time highs or for dropping dramatically. This process is called dollar-cost averaging. When you invest consistently, your money automatically buys more shares when prices are low and fewer shares when prices are high. It takes emotion out of the equation and ensures you are always making progress toward your goals. Let's wrap up Chapter 5. We've learned that you don't need to be a stock-picking genius to be a successful investor. The smartest move for most of us is to own the entire market through simple, low-cost index funds or ETFs. A single total stock market or S&P 500 fund is a perfect place to start, giving you instant diversification and a proven track record of long-term growth. The key is not to find the perfect investment, but to invest consistently over a long period of time and let the market do the heavy lifting for you. You now have a complete system, a budget that finds the money, an account to hold your investments, and a simple, powerful investment to buy within it. In our next chapter, we will discuss the final, and perhaps most important, piece of the puzzle, your mindset. We'll talk about how to automate your entire process, the importance of patience, and how to stay the course when the market gets volatile. Thank you for joining me. Your action step is to log into your new investment account, find a low-cost, broad market index fund, and set up your first automatic investment. You've got this. Welcome back to 7 Simple Steps to Start Investing in Your 20s. I want to sincerely congratulate you. Over the last 5 chapters, you have built a complete, powerful, and sophisticated wealth-building machine from the ground up. You understand the core principles, you have a concrete plan, you've chosen your accounts, and you have a simple, effective investment strategy. The technical work is done. From this point forward, the biggest obstacle to your financial success is not a lack of knowledge. It's you. More specifically, it's human nature, our deep-seated emotions of fear and greed, and our tendency to react to a constant barrage of financial news and noise. In this chapter, we are going to build your defense system. We're going to focus on the single most important factor that separates successful long-term investors from those who fail: mindset. We will discuss how to put your entire investment plan on autopilot, how to cultivate the superpower of patience, and how to stay calm and rational when everyone around you is panicking. This is the step that ensures your well-designed plan actually survives contact with the real world. The single best way to protect your investment plan from your own emotions is to remove yourself from the day-to-day process as much as possible. We're going to do this by putting the entire system on autopilot. In Chapter 3, we talked about paying yourself first by setting up an automatic transfer to your savings account. Now, we're going to complete that circuit. Here's what the full, automated process looks like. First, your paycheck is directly deposited into your checking account by your employer. Second, on that same day, an automatic recurring transfer that you've set up sends your predetermined investment amount, say $300, from your checking account to your Roth IRA or brokerage account. Finally, and this is the key, inside your investment account, you will set up an automatic investment feature. This tells the brokerage firm to automatically use that new cash to purchase shares of your chosen index fund or ETF on a specific day each month. This three-step chain, from paycheck to checking, checking to investment account, and investment account to investment, runs seamlessly in the background every single month without you having to lift a finger. This is the essence of a set it and forget it strategy. It removes the need for willpower and discipline. It ensures you are investing consistently, which is the engine of dollar-cost averaging. You'll never forget to invest, and you won't be tempted to spend the money on something else. This level of automation is your number one defense against emotional decision-making. Once your system is automated, your most important job as an investor is to cultivate patience and learn the art of doing nothing. The media and movies often portray investing as a high-stakes, fast-paced game of frantic buying and selling. The reality of successful investing couldn't be more different. It is, for the most part, incredibly boring, and that's a good thing. I want you to think of your investment portfolio like planting a tree. You choose a good spot, plant a healthy sapling, and set up a system to water it regularly. That watering is your consistent, automated monthly contribution. Once that's in place, what is the best way to help the tree grow? You leave it alone. You let it grow, season after season, year after year. You don't dig it up every day to check on the roots. You don't panic and move it every time there's a storm. You trust the process of time and nature. Your investments are the same. Once your automated plan is running, resist the urge to constantly check your account balance. Looking at it every day will only cause anxiety. You'll feel euphoric on up days and panicked on down days, and both emotions can lead to bad decisions. Limit yourself to checking in on your portfolio maybe once every 3 or 6 months, just to ensure your contributions are going through correctly. Otherwise, let it be. Your greatest ally on this journey is time, and your greatest action is often inaction. Now, let's talk about the storm. Let's talk about what happens when the market crashes, because it absolutely will. Market downturns, corrections of 10%, and bear markets or crashes of 20% or more are not a question of if, but when. They are a normal, natural, and unavoidable feature of the investing landscape. They are not a sign that the system is broken. They are the price of admission for the excellent long-term returns the market provides. When this happens, your gut reaction, fueled by terrifying news headlines, will be to do something, anything, to stop the bleeding. This is where you will face the 2 cardinal sins of investing. The first is panic selling. This is the act of selling your investments after they have already dropped in value, out of fear they will go to zero. This is the single most destructive action an investor can take, because it turns a temporary, on-paper loss into a permanent, real-world loss. Financial history has shown us, without exception, that the market has always recovered from every single crash and gone on to reach new all-time highs. Selling at the bottom guarantees you miss the inevitable recovery. The second sin is trying to time the market. This is the fantasy of selling at the absolute peak and buying back in at the absolute bottom. Nobody on earth can do this consistently. Far more often, people who try end up selling after the market has already started to fall and buying back in only after the market has already recovered, effectively locking in losses and missing out on gains. Your automated investing plan is your shield against these sins. During a downturn, your plan continues to run, buying more and more shares of your index fund at cheaper and cheaper prices. As a young investor with a 40-year time horizon, a market crash is a massive sale. It is a wonderful opportunity to accumulate more assets at a discount. Your mantra during these times should be, "My plan is for the long term. This is temporary. I will stick to the plan." Finally, it's crucial to learn to tune out the noise. The financial media's primary goal is not to make you a better investor. It is to get your attention. They do this by appealing to fear and greed. Headlines will scream about impending doom one day and a once-in-a-lifetime hot stock tip the next. This is entertainment, not education. Your simple, boring plan to buy and hold a diversified index fund for decades will never be a headline, but it is the proven path to success. Trust your plan, not the pundits. And that brings us to the end of Chapter 6. We have shifted our focus from the technical to the psychological. We've learned that the key to long-term success is building a bulletproof mindset. The strategy is to automate your entire investment process, practice the profound art of patience, and understand that market downturns are opportunities, not threats. By sticking to your plan and tuning out the daily noise, you protect yourself from the emotional mistakes that derail most investors. You now have the complete package: the knowledge, the tools, and the mindset. In our final chapter, we'll look to the future. We'll discuss how to maintain your plan over the years, how and when to increase your contributions as your income grows, and the simple ways to rebalance your portfolio to keep it on track, ensuring that the machine you've built continues to run smoothly for decades to come. Thank you for listening. Hello, and welcome back for our final chapter of 7 Simple Steps to Start Investing in Your 20s. I want you to take a deep breath and feel a real sense of accomplishment. You have made it. You started this journey, perhaps with some uncertainty or apprehension, and you have systematically built a complete and powerful plan for your financial future. You've learned the critical why of starting early, you've defined your personal goals, you've created a system to fund those goals, you've chosen the right tools, you've selected a simple and effective investment, and you have fortified yourself with the right mindset. You are no longer a beginner. You are an investor. The world of personal finance isn't static, and neither is your life. Your income will grow, your goals will evolve, and the market will continue its endless dance of ups and downs. This final chapter is about looking to the future. It's about how to maintain the powerful machine you've built, how to level up your contributions as your career advances, and how to ensure your plan stays on track, not just for next year, but for the decades to come. This is the step that turns a great start into a lifetime of financial success. The set it and forget it approach we discussed is about avoiding constant tinkering and emotional reactions, but it doesn't mean you should never look at your plan again. To ensure everything stays on track, I recommend a simple annual financial checkup. Think of it like a yearly visit to the doctor, a low-stress way to check your vital signs and make sure you're still healthy. Schedule it on your calendar for the same time each year, perhaps on your birthday or in the new year. During this 30-minute checkup, you'll briefly review 3 things. First, your goals. Are the goals you set back in Chapter 2 still the ones you're working toward? Life happens. You might decide you no longer want to buy a house, or perhaps getting married is now on the horizon. A quick review ensures the destination on your financial map is still where you want to go. Second, your contributions. Is your automated investment plan still running smoothly? More importantly, can you contribute more? We'll talk more about this in a moment. Third, your portfolio. Take a quick, unemotional look at your investments. How did they perform? Are they still aligned with your long-term strategy? This isn't a time to panic about short-term results, but simply to stay informed. This simple annual review keeps you engaged with your plan without becoming obsessed with it. The single most powerful way to accelerate your journey to wealth, outside of compound interest itself, is to increase the amount you invest over time. As you progress in your career, you will get raises, bonuses, and promotions. When this happens, you will face a subtle enemy called lifestyle creep. This is the natural tendency to increase your spending as your income increases. Your apartment gets a little bigger, your car gets a little nicer, and you eat out a little more often. While there's nothing wrong with enjoying the fruits of your labor, unchecked lifestyle creep can cause you to end up on a financial treadmill, never getting further ahead no matter how much your income grows. Here is a simple but life-changing rule to combat this. Every time you get a raise, increase your investment contribution before you get used to the bigger paycheck. A powerful strategy is to split your raise between your present self and your future self. For example, if you receive a 4% raise, immediately log into your 401k or automated IRA contribution and increase your savings rate by half of that, by 2%. This way, you still see a nice bump in your monthly take-home pay, so you feel the reward of your hard work, but you've also guaranteed that a significant portion of that new income is dedicated to building your wealth. Making this a non-negotiable habit every time your income increases will have a monumental impact on your financial future, far greater than you can imagine today. As you conduct your annual checkup, there's one simple maintenance task you'll want to perform called rebalancing. It sounds technical, but the concept is incredibly simple and powerful. Let's go back to the simple two-fund portfolio we discussed in Chapter 5, with a target of 80% in a U.S. stock fund and 20% in an international stock fund. Now, let's imagine the U.S. market has a fantastic year, while the international market has a flat year. When you look at your portfolio during your checkup, you might find that it has drifted and is now 85% U.S. stocks and only 15% international stocks. You are now less diversified and taking on a different level of risk than you originally intended. Rebalancing is simply the process of bringing your portfolio back to its original targets. In this case, you would sell a small portion of your U.S. stock fund, the one that performed well, and use that money to buy more of the international stock fund, the one that underperformed, until you're back to your 80-20th allocation. This is a disciplined, unemotional way to adhere to the timeless wisdom of buy low and sell high. It forces you to systematically take some profits from your best performers and reinvest them into the assets that are relatively cheaper. It's a professional-grade strategy that you can easily implement once a year to keep your portfolio healthy and aligned with your goals. And with that, we have completed our journey. Let's quickly recap the 7 simple steps that have taken you from beginner to confident investor. Step 1. You embraced your superpower, the power of starting early and letting compound interest work its magic. Step 2. You drew your financial map by setting clear, meaningful, and specific goals. Step 3. You learned to master your cash flow and create a simple budget to fund your future. Step 4. You chose the right tools for the job, understanding the unique benefits of 401k, and Roth IRAs. Step 5. You learned what to buy, bypassing risky stock picking for the simple, proven power of low-cost, diversified index funds. Step 6. You built a bulletproof mindset, putting your plan on autopilot and learning to ignore the noise. And Step 7. You now have a plan for the future, to review your plan annually, increase your contributions, and stay the course for the long haul. You now know more about sound, effective investing than the vast majority of the population. The path you've laid out is simple, but that doesn't mean it's always easy. The real challenge is not in the complexity of the strategy, but in the discipline and consistency required to execute it over not just months, but decades. The small, almost unnoticeable contributions you're making today are the seeds of a mighty oak tree. You are laying the foundation for a future defined by financial security, freedom, and choice. You have given your future self an incredible gift. The journey is just beginning, and you are perfectly equipped for the road ahead. Thank you for joining me on this journey. I wish you the best of luck and a lifetime of successful investing. Welcome back to 7 Simple Steps to Start Investing in Your 20s. I'd like to officially welcome you to our bonus content, designed for those who have mastered the fundamentals and are ready to add a new layer of sophistication to their financial plan. You've already built your investment engine with low-cost index funds. Now, we're going to learn how to fine-tune that engine to perfectly match your personal comfort level and your specific financial goals. In this bonus chapter, we are going to explore 2 of the most important concepts in investing: risk tolerance and asset allocation. Understanding these 2 ideas is what allows you to build a portfolio that you can stick with for the long haul, through good times and bad. It's how you ensure that your investment journey is not only profitable but also comfortable enough that you can sleep soundly at night, no matter what the market is doing. First, let's talk about risk tolerance. In simple terms, your risk tolerance is your emotional and psychological ability to handle fluctuations in the value of your investments. It's the measure of how much of a drop in your portfolio you can stomach without panicking and abandoning your plan. This is not a measure of how smart you are, it's a fundamental part of your personality. Some people are natural thrill seekers who are comfortable with big swings, while others are more cautious and prefer a smoother ride. There is no right or wrong answer. The only thing that matters is being honest with yourself. One of the biggest advantages you have in your 20s is a high ability to take on risk. As we discussed in earlier chapters, your long time horizon means you have decades to recover from any market downturns. However, your ability to take risk and your willingness to take risk can be 2 very different things. It's easy to say you're comfortable with risk when the market is going up. The real test is how you feel when your account balance drops by 20% or 30%. Do you see it as a buying opportunity, as we've discussed? Or does it cause you genuine anxiety and a powerful urge to sell? Answering that question honestly is the key to understanding your personal risk tolerance. Now, let's introduce the tool we use to manage that risk: asset allocation. This is simply the practice of dividing your investment portfolio among different types of assets, primarily stocks and bonds. Think of your portfolio as a team. You need players who are great at offense and players who are great at defense. Stocks are your offensive players. They represent ownership in a company, and they offer the highest potential for long-term growth. This growth, however, comes with higher volatility. Their values can swing up and down dramatically in the short term. The broad market index funds we discussed in Chapter 5 are made up entirely of stocks. Bonds, on the other hand, are your defensive players. When you buy a bond, you are essentially lending money to a government or a corporation, and they agree to pay you back with interest. Bonds are generally much more stable and less volatile than stocks. Their potential for growth is lower, but they provide stability and a cushion to your portfolio during stock market downturns. Often, when stock prices fall, bond prices will rise or hold steady, smoothing out the overall performance of your portfolio. Asset allocation is the decision of what percentage of your portfolio you will put on offense, stocks, and what percentage you will put on defense, bonds. This is the single most important decision you will make that determines your portfolio's long-term returns and its level of volatility. So, how do risk tolerance and asset allocation connect? It's simple. Your personal risk tolerance should determine your asset allocation. If you have a high risk tolerance, you're comfortable with big swings for the chance at higher growth, you would choose a more aggressive asset allocation. For a 25-year-old, this might mean a portfolio that is 90% stocks and 10% bonds, or even 100% stocks. This allocation is designed for maximum long-term growth and is appropriate for someone who won't panic during market downturns. If you discover you have a more moderate risk tolerance, you might opt for a more balanced allocation, such as 70% stocks and 30% bonds. This portfolio will still have excellent growth potential, but the larger allocation to bonds will provide more of a cushion during market corrections, resulting in a smoother ride. If you find you are a very conservative investor and prioritize protecting your money over maximizing its growth, You might choose an allocation of 50% stocks and 50% bonds. A simple rule of thumb for determining your stock allocation has traditionally been 110 minus your age. So, for a 25-year-old, that would suggest 85% allocation to stocks, 110 to 25. This is just a starting point, and you can adjust it up or down based on your personal comfort level. The most important thing is to choose a mix that you can stick with. An aggressive 90-10 portfolio is useless if you're going to panic and sell at the first sign of trouble. You are almost always better off with a more conservative portfolio that you can hold onto consistently than an aggressive one that you can't. Many brokerage platforms offer simple questionnaires to help you assess your risk tolerance and recommend a target asset allocation. A fantastic and simple way to implement this is through a target date fund, which automatically manages the asset allocation for you, becoming more conservative as you get closer to your target retirement date. And that concludes our bonus chapter on risk tolerance and asset allocation. You now understand that your success as an investor depends not just on what you own, but on building a portfolio that aligns with your personal temperament. We've learned that stocks are the engine of growth, while bonds provide stability and defense. The mix you choose, your asset allocation, is the key to managing risk and creating a portfolio you can comfortably hold for the long term. Your action step is to reflect on your own comfort with risk. Consider using an online calculator or questionnaire to get a sense of where you stand, and then decide on a target stock and bond allocation that feels right for you. This act of self-awareness will pay dividends for your entire investing life. Thank you for continuing to learn and grow on this journey. Welcome back to our bonus content for 7 Simple Steps to Start Investing in Your 20s. In our main series, we focused on the most common retirement accounts, the 401k and the Roth IRA. These are the powerful cornerstones of most retirement plans. However, the world of retirement savings is a bit wider than that, and depending on your career path, you might encounter some different, but equally powerful options. This bonus chapter is designed to expand your financial toolkit. We'll explore some of the other important retirement accounts you might come across, specifically the 403b, which is common in the nonprofit and public service sectors, and the SEP IRA, a fantastic tool for freelancers and self-employed individuals. Understanding these accounts ensures that no matter where your career takes you, you'll know exactly how to continue building your tax-advantaged retirement savings. First, let's talk about the 403b. If you plan to work as a teacher, a professor, a doctor in a nonprofit hospital, a government employee, or for any other tax-exempt organization, the 403b will likely be your primary workplace retirement plan. For all practical purposes, a 403b is the nonprofit and public sector's cousin to the 401k. The mechanics are very similar. You contribute money directly from your paycheck, and those contributions grow tax-deferred, meaning you don't pay taxes on the growth each year. Just like a 401k, there are 2 main types of 403b's. Traditional 403b, you contribute pre-tax dollars. This lowers your taxable income today, giving you an immediate tax break. You then pay income tax on your withdrawals in retirement. Roth 403b. Many employers now offer this option. You contribute after-tax dollars. There's no upfront tax break, but all of your qualified withdrawals in retirement, both your contributions and all the earnings, are 100% tax-free. The same golden rule we learned for the 401k applies here. If your employer offers a company match on your 403b contributions, your number one priority is to contribute enough to get that full match. It is free money and the best guaranteed return on your investment. One historical difference to be aware of is that 403b plans sometimes have a reputation for offering investment options with higher fees, particularly certain types of annuities. However, many modern 403b plans now offer the same excellent, low-cost index funds we've discussed. When you start a job that offers a 403b, simply do your due diligence. Look for the broad market, low-cost index funds within the plan to build your portfolio. Now, let's shift gears to a world that's becoming increasingly common for people in their 20s. Freelancing, the gig economy, and self-employment. If you're earning income outside of a traditional employer, whether it's from a side hustle or your full-time business, you don't have access to a 401k or 403b. But that doesn't mean you have to miss out on supercharged retirement savings. This is where the SEP IRA comes in. SEP stands for Simplified Employee Pension. It's an incredibly powerful and easy-to-use retirement account designed for self-employed individuals and small business owners. Think of it like a 401k that you, as the business owner, even if you're a business of one, can set up for yourself. The biggest advantage of the SEP IRA is its massive contribution limit. While a traditional or Roth IRA has a relatively low annual contribution limit, a SEP IRA allows you to contribute a much larger amount, up to 25% of your net self-employment income, with a very high annual maximum, well over $60,000, though the exact number changes with inflation. This makes it an amazing tool for freelancers who have a great year and want to save a large chunk of that income for retirement in a tax-advantaged way. All contributions to a SEP IRA are made with pre-tax dollars, meaning they directly reduce your taxable income for the year, which can result in significant tax savings. For example, if you're in the 22% tax bracket and you contribute $10,000 to your SEP IRA, you could save $2,200 on your tax bill for that year. Setting up a SEP IRA is incredibly simple and can be done at any major brokerage firm in just a few minutes. If you earn any self-employment income, it's a tool you should absolutely know about. So, how do these accounts fit into your overall savings strategy? Your priority list remains largely the same, with a few adjustments. If you have a workplace plan like a 401k or 403b with a match, contribute enough to get the full match first. Next, fully fund a Roth IRA for its powerful tax-free growth in retirement. Then, if you still have money to save, go back and contribute more to your workplace 401k or 403b. If you have self-employment income, you can contribute to a SEP IRA in addition to your workplace plan and your personal Roth IRA. This provides a powerful way to dramatically increase your total retirement savings each year. The key takeaway is that no matter your employment situation, whether you're working for a large corporation, a local school, or for yourself, there is a tax-advantaged retirement account designed to help you build a secure future. And that concludes our deeper dive into the world of retirement accounts. You are now familiar with the 403b, the go-to plan for public service and non-profit employees, and the SEP IRA, the freelancer's secret weapon for supercharging retirement savings. By understanding these tools, you've made yourself more adaptable and prepared to optimize your saving strategy no matter what career path you choose. You're building a financial toolkit that can serve you for the rest of your life. Thank you for your continued commitment to your financial education. Welcome back to the bonus content for 7 Simple Steps to Start Investing in Your 20s. So far, our primary focus has been on the ultimate long-term goal, retirement. We've learned how to use powerful accounts like 401k, and Roth IRAs to build wealth over a 40-year horizon. But what about the other big life goals that happen long before retirement? For many people in their 20s and 30s, the biggest financial goal on their mind is saving for a down payment on a home. This is what we call a midterm goal, something you want to achieve in the next, say, 3 to 10 years. The strategy for this type of goal is different from retirement planning. The timeline is too short to go all in on stocks, but it's too long to leave your money sitting in a low-yield savings account. In this chapter, we'll build a sensible, balanced strategy for investing for a down payment or any other major midterm goal. First, let's establish why the approach needs to be different. When you're investing for retirement in your 20s, your time horizon is so long that you can afford to ignore short-term market volatility. A 30% market drop is just a great buying opportunity. But if you plan to buy a house in 5 years and your entire down payment fund drops by 30% right before you need it, that's a catastrophe. It could mean delaying your purchase for years until the market recovers. On the other hand, If you just put your money in a standard savings account, you face a different problem: inflation. With a target of 5, 7, or even 10 years away, the rising cost of living and housing will steadily eat away at the purchasing power of your savings. You're not losing money, but you're not gaining ground either. The solution, therefore, is a balanced approach. We need a strategy that provides the potential for growth to outpace inflation, but with a significant focus on capital preservation to reduce the risk of a major loss. The tool we use to achieve this is, once again, asset allocation. For a mid-term goal like a down payment, a portfolio consisting of 100% stocks is too aggressive. We need to build a more conservative portfolio by incorporating a healthy dose of high-quality bonds. As we learned in a previous bonus chapter, bonds act as the defensive players in our portfolio, providing stability and a cushion against the volatility of the stock market. The specific asset allocation you choose depends on your timeline. The further away your goal is, the more risk you can afford to take. Here are some simple, sample allocations you might consider. For a goal 7 to 10 years away, you could consider an allocation of 60% stocks and 40% bonds. This gives your money a solid chance to grow over the decade, while the 40% bond allocation helps protect against severe downturns. For a goal 3 to 6 years away, you would want to be more conservative. An allocation of 40% stocks and 60% bonds, or even 30% stocks and 70% bonds, might be more appropriate. Here, the primary focus shifts from growth to preserving the capital you've already saved. For a goal less than 3 years away, for this short time frame, most financial experts would agree that your money should not be in the stock market at all. The risk of a short-term loss is too high. This money is best kept safe in a high-yield savings account, a certificate of deposit, CD, or U.S. Treasury bills. The account you will use for this goal is a standard, taxable brokerage account, as we discussed in Chapter 4. This account offers the flexibility you need to withdraw the money when you're ready to buy your home, without the age restrictions of retirement accounts. A crucial part of this strategy is the concept of a glide path. This means your asset allocation should become progressively more conservative as you get closer to your goal. Let's say you start saving for a down payment with a 10-year timeline, using a 60% stock and 40% bond allocation. After 5 years, you're now only 5 years away from your goal. At this point, during your annual financial checkup, you would adjust your allocation to be more conservative, perhaps shifting to that 40% stock and 60% bond mix. Then, when you are 2 or 3 years away from buying, you would begin to systematically sell your investments and move the entire fund into the safety of a high-yield savings account. This glide path strategy allows you to take advantage of growth in the early years while ensuring your hard-earned down payment is protected and ready for you when you need it. It's a smart way to manage risk over the lifetime of your goal. You can easily build these portfolios yourself using 2 simple, low-cost index funds, a total stock market index fund and a total bond market index fund. By combining these 2 funds in the percentages that match your timeline, you can create a perfectly diversified, goal-specific portfolio. And that concludes our look at investing for a down payment. We've learned that a midterm goal requires a unique strategy, one that balances the need for growth with the importance of capital preservation. By using a sensible asset allocation of stocks and bonds that becomes more conservative as your goal gets closer, you can put your money to work without exposing it to unnecessary risk. Whether it's for a house, a car, or starting a business, you now have a clear framework for achieving your biggest life goals that fall between today and retirement. Thank you for continuing to expand your financial knowledge. Welcome back to the bonus content for 7 Simple Steps to Start Investing in Your 20s. We've spent a great deal of time talking about how to grow your money through investing. But for many people in their 20s, there's another major force at play in their financial lives: debt. Specifically, student loans and credit card debt can feel like a huge weight, making the idea of investing seem impossible or irresponsible. This leads to one of the most common financial questions young people face: should I pay off my debt first, or should I start investing? The good news is that the answer isn't always one or the other. In many cases, the smartest approach is a balanced one. In this chapter, we'll break down a simple framework to help you decide how to prioritize your extra cash, so you can attack your debt intelligently while still taking advantage of your most valuable asset, time in the market. To make a smart decision, we need to understand that not all debt is created equal. The most important factor that determines how you should treat a debt is its interest rate. The interest rate is the cost of borrowing money. A high interest rate is a financial emergency, while a low interest rate is a manageable expense. We can separate our debts into two main categories: high interest debt and low interest debt. High interest debt is typically anything with an interest rate of 8% or higher. The most common and dangerous example of this is credit card debt. Interest rates on credit cards can often be 18%, 22%, or even higher. When you carry a balance on a credit card, you are being charged an incredibly high rate that works against you with the same power that compound interest works for you. Think about it this way. Earning an average return of 8 to 10% in the stock market over the long term is considered a great outcome. If you have credit card debt at 20%, you are fighting a battle where your debt is growing twice as fast as your investments, guaranteed. Therefore, the financial logic is clear and non-negotiable. Paying off high-interest debt provides a guaranteed, risk-free return equal to the interest rate. Paying off a 20% interest credit card is like earning a 20% guaranteed return on your money. You will not find that anywhere else. The golden rule: if you have high-interest debt, like a credit card balance, your absolute top financial priority, even before investing beyond your 401k match, should be to pay it off as aggressively as possible. Create a plan, throw every extra dollar you have at it, and eliminate it from your life. On the other side, we have low-interest debt. This is typically debt with an interest rate of 6% or lower. For most people, federal student loans and auto loans fall into this category. When the interest rate on your debt is low, the mathematical argument for paying it off aggressively becomes much weaker. Let's use an example. Say you have a student loan with a 4.5% interest rate, and you have an extra $200 this month. You have two choices. You can pay an extra $200 toward that loan, saving you 4.5% in interest on that money. Or you can invest that $200 in a broad market index fund, which, based on historical averages, has the potential to earn 8 to 10% over the long term. In this scenario, it is mathematically likely that your money will grow faster in the stock market than the interest will accumulate on your loan. By only making the minimum required payments on your low-interest debt and investing the rest, you are likely to come out financially ahead in the long run. This is a concept known as arbitrage, borrowing money at a low rate to invest it at a higher one. So, how do we put this all together into a clear action plan? Here is a simple priority list to follow when you have extra money to allocate each month. Build a starter emergency fund. Before you do anything else, save up at least $1,000 in a savings account. This provides a small buffer to prevent you from going into more debt if a small emergency pops up. Get your 401k match. If your employer offers a 401k or 403b match, contribute just enough to get the full match. This is a 100% return on your money and is too good to pass up, no matter what debt you have. Pay off all high-interest debt. Now, attack all credit card balances and any personal loans with an interest rate above 8%. This is a financial fire, and you should treat it as such. Invest for the future and pay down debt simultaneously. Once your high-interest debt is gone, you can adopt a balanced approach. Continue making the minimum payments on your low-interest debts, like student loans. Then, take the rest of your investment money and put it toward your retirement goals, such as maxing out your Roth IRA and contributing more to your 401k. This strategy allows you to tackle your most dangerous debts first while ensuring you don't miss out on crucial years of compound growth. It's a logical and mathematically sound approach to building wealth while responsibly managing your obligations. And that concludes our chapter on navigating debt while investing. We've learned that the interest rate is the key factor in your decision-making. High-interest debt is an emergency that should be paid off aggressively for a guaranteed return. Low-interest debt is a manageable expense that, from a purely mathematical standpoint, you are often better off paying down slowly while you invest. By following a clear priority list, you can move forward with a confident, balanced strategy that builds a strong financial foundation for your future. Thank you for joining me. Welcome back to our bonus content for 7 Simple Steps to Start Investing in Your 20s. Throughout this series, we've focused on specific actions: saving, investing, and paying down debt. These are the individual plays in your financial game plan. But how do you know if you're actually winning the game? You need a scorecard. In finance, that scorecard is your net worth. Understanding and tracking your net worth is one of the most powerful and motivating things you can do for your financial life. It cuts through the complexity and gives you a single, clear number that represents your financial progress over time. In this chapter, we'll learn what net worth is, how to calculate it in a few simple steps, and why tracking it can be a game changer for your motivation and decision-making. What is net worth? At its core, net worth is a simple snapshot of your financial health. The formula is straightforward. It's everything you own, your assets, minus everything you owe, your liabilities. Assets, liabilities equals net worth. Let's break down those two components. Assets are anything you own that has monetary value. For most people in their 20s, the list of assets is pretty simple. It includes the cash in your checking and savings accounts, including your emergency fund, the current value of all your investment accounts, your 401k, Roth IRA, brokerage account, etc., the current market value of your car, the value of any other significant property you might own, like expensive electronics or jewelry. Liabilities are all of your outstanding debts. This is the money you owe to others. The common liabilities for a young person are credit card balances, the remaining balance on your student loans, the remaining balance on your auto loan, any other personal loans or money you owe. The final number you get after subtracting your total liabilities from your total assets is your net worth. It's the truest measure of your financial position. Your first calculation, and why a negative number is okay. Let's do a quick, simple calculation. Grab a piece of paper or open a notes app. First, list your assets and add them up. It might look something like this. Checking and savings, $5,000. Roth IRA, $3,500. Car value, $8,000. Total assets, $16,500. Next, list your liabilities and add them up. Student loans, $25,000. Credit card debt, $1,500. Total liabilities, $26,500. Now, apply the formula. $16,500 assets, $26,500 liabilities equals minus $10,000 net worth. At this point, I need to say something very important. It is completely normal and okay to have a negative net worth in your 20s. For many people, especially those with student loans, their liabilities will outweigh their assets at the beginning of their careers. Do not be discouraged by this. A negative net worth is not a sign of failure. It is your starting line. The goal isn't to start with a high score. The goal is to make the score consistently go up over time. Why tracking your net worth is a game changer. Calculating your net worth once is insightful, but the real magic happens when you track it over time. I recommend updating your net worth calculation every 6 months or once a year. This provides several powerful benefits. First, it motivates you. Seeing that number, even if it's still negative, move in the right direction provides incredible positive reinforcement. When you choose to invest an extra $100 instead of spending it, your net worth goes up. When you make an extra payment on your credit card debt, your net worth goes up. It connects your small, positive daily actions to the big picture goal of building wealth. Second, it provides clarity. Your net worth is the ultimate financial scorecard. Your income is important, but if you spend everything you earn, your net worth won't grow. The stock market can be volatile, but if you are consistently investing and paying down debt, the long-term trend of your net worth will be upward. It forces you to look at your entire financial picture, both assets and liabilities, and make more balanced decisions. Every positive financial action you take, from paying off $1 of debt to investing $1 for the future, will be reflected in this single powerful number. It's the most honest measure of your progress on the journey to financial independence. And that wraps up our chapter on net worth. We've learned that this simple calculation, assets minus liabilities, is the ultimate measure of your financial health. Don't be discouraged if you're starting in negative territory. What matters is the direction you're headed. By calculating your net worth once or twice a year, you create a powerful feedback loop that motivates you, clarifies your progress, and keeps you focused on your long-term goals. Your action step is to take 15 minutes this week to calculate your own net worth. This is your starting line. From here, the only way to go is up. Thank you for joining me. Welcome back to our bonus content for 7 simple steps to start investing in your 20s. Throughout this series, we've touched on the power of automation in several chapters. We've talked about automating your savings, automating your investments, and using it as a defense against emotional decision-making. Because this concept is so fundamentally important to long-term success, we're going to dedicate this entire chapter to it. Think of it this way: willpower is a finite resource. There will be days you feel motivated and days you don't. A financial plan that relies on you making the perfect decision every single day is a plan that is destined to fail. The solution is to build a system, a money machine that works for you in the background, making the right decisions automatically. In this chapter, we'll lay out the step-by-step blueprint for creating a fully automated financial life that builds wealth effortlessly. The philosophy: system over willpower. The core philosophy behind automation is simple. The most reliable way to achieve a goal is to make progress the default setting. We want to design a system where your money flows exactly where it needs to go without requiring any conscious thought or effort from you after the initial setup. This removes the single biggest point of failure in any financial plan: human emotion and forgetfulness. An automated system ensures that you always pay yourself first. It guarantees that you are consistent with your investments, which is the key to dollar-cost averaging. And it frees up your mental energy to focus on other things, like growing your career or enjoying your life, secure in the knowledge that your financial future is being taken care of automatically. The blueprint: a step-by-step guide to automation. Here is a practical, step-by-step guide to setting up your automated money machine. You can do this all in about an hour. Step 1. The hub, your checking account. Your primary checking account is the hub of your entire system. The first step is to have your paycheck deposited directly into this account. This is the starting point for all your money flows. Step 2. Automate your bills. Your first priority is to ensure your essential obligations are met. Go through all your fixed monthly bills, rent, car payment, student loans, cell phone, internet, and set them up on autopay from your checking account. This prevents late fees and protects your credit score. For variable bills like electricity, many utility companies offer budget billing that averages your cost into a predictable monthly payment, which you can also automate. Step 3. Create goal accounts. Go to your bank or an online bank and open a few separate fee-free savings accounts and nickname them based on their purpose. You should have at least 2. An emergency fund account, a short-term savings account for goals like vacations or a new car. Step 4. The automatic transfers, the heart of the system. This is the most important step. You are now going to set up a series of automatic, recurring transfers to take place on the day you get paid. Transfer 1. From checking to your emergency fund. Set up a transfer to automatically move a set amount to your emergency fund until it is fully funded. Transfer 2. From checking to your short-term savings. Set up a transfer for the amount you've budgeted for your shorter-term goals. Transfer 3. From checking to your Roth IRA. This is the pay yourself first transfer for retirement. A set amount goes directly to your investment account. Transfer 4. From checking to a guilt-free spending account, optional but recommended. Many people find it helpful to have a separate checking account or debit card where they automatically transfer their budgeted, fun money. This allows you to spend on wants without ever worrying if you're taking money away from your goals. Step 5. Automate your investments. Inside your Roth IRA and your 401k, ensure that you have set up automatic investments. Your 401k contributions are already automated from your paycheck. For your Roth IRA, log in and instruct the brokerage to automatically pull the transferred cash and invest it into your chosen index funds every month. Once this system is in place, your money is now on autopilot. Your bills are paid, your savings are growing, and your investments are being made consistently, all without any further intervention from you. The money left in your main checking account is what you have left to safely spend on variable needs like groceries and gas until your next paycheck. And that is how you build a true money machine. We've laid out the 5 key steps: centralizing your income, automating your bills, creating dedicated savings accounts, setting up automatic transfers to fund your goals, and automating the investments themselves. By building a system that prioritizes your future, you are no longer relying on day-to-day motivation. You are relying on a robust, intelligent system that makes progress your default state. Your action step is to take 1 hour this weekend and implement this blueprint. It will be one of the most profitable hours you ever spend. Thank you for joining me. Welcome back to the bonus content for 7 simple steps to start investing in your 20s. A huge part of your financial journey in your 20s involves your career. You'll likely change jobs a few times, and each change represents a massive opportunity to increase your income and accelerate your wealth building. But a job offer is much more than just the salary number. To make a truly smart career decision, you have to look at the entire financial package. Too often, people focus only on the base salary and overlook benefits that can be worth thousands of dollars a year. In this chapter, we're going to break down how to decode the financial side of a job offer. We'll look beyond the salary and learn to evaluate the key benefits, like the 401k match, health insurance, and other perks that make up your total compensation. Beyond the salary, total compensation. When a company makes you an offer, the big number they lead with is your base salary. This is your guaranteed annual pay before taxes, and it's obviously a critical component. You should always research the average salary for your role and experience level in that specific geographic location to ensure the offer is competitive. However, the base salary is just one piece of your total compensation. Total compensation is the full monetary value of your job, which includes both your salary and the benefits package. A job that offers $70,000 a year with fantastic benefits can often be financially superior to a job that offers $75,000 with poor benefits. Let's look at the key benefits to analyze. The 401k match, your instant return. As we've discussed throughout this series, the employer match in your 401k or 403b is free money. When you're comparing job offers, the quality of the match is a huge financial factor. Let's compare 2 offers. Company A offers a salary of $65,000 and a 401k match of 100% on the first 6% of your salary. Company B offers a salary of $68,000 but has no 401k match at all. Let's do the math. At Company A, if you contribute 6% of your salary, $3,900, the company gives you an additional $3,900 for free. This brings your effective total compensation to $68,900, $65,000 plus $3,900. Suddenly, the lower salary job is actually the better financial offer. Always ask for the details of the 401k match. Is there a vesting schedule? This means you have to stay with the company for a certain period, often 1 to 3 years, before you have full ownership of the money your employer contributed. This is a critical detail to know. Health insurance, the hidden paycheck. Health insurance is another massive financial benefit that is often overlooked by young, healthy people. The amount a company contributes toward your health insurance premium is a form of tax-free compensation. When you get an offer, don't just ask if they have health insurance. Ask for the specifics. What is the monthly premium, the amount you'll pay out of your paycheck? What is the deductible, the amount you have to pay out of pocket before the insurance fully kicks in? What are the co-pays for doctor visits? Company A might offer a plan where they cover 90% of the premium, and your monthly cost is only $100 for excellent coverage. Company B might only cover 60% of the premium, leaving you with a $400 monthly bill for a plan with a higher deductible. That $300 per month difference is equivalent to $3,600 in pre-tax salary. A great health insurance plan is like a hidden paycheck. Also look for access to accounts like a health savings account, HSA, which offers incredible tax benefits for medical expenses. Other financial perks to consider. Beyond the big two, look for other benefits that have a direct impact on your wallet. Bonuses. Is there a potential for an annual performance bonus? Ask for the typical target percentage. Stock options or RSUs. If you're working for a publicly traded company or a startup, you may be offered equity. This can be complex, but it offers the potential for significant wealth. Commuter benefits. Do they offer pre-tax accounts to pay for parking or public transit? Student loan repayment assistance. A growing number of companies are offering programs that help you pay down your student loans. This is a hugely valuable perk. Paid time off. PTO, more vacation time, might not seem like a direct financial benefit, but it improves your work-life balance and prevents burnout, which is invaluable. When you receive a job offer, don't be afraid to politely ask for a day or two to review the full benefits package in detail. A good employer will be happy to provide it. By adding up the value of your salary, the 401k match, and the value of your insurance and other perks, you can calculate a true total compensation number and make the best possible decision for your career and your wealth. And that concludes our chapter on decoding the financials of a job offer. We've learned that looking beyond the base salary is crucial to making smart career moves. By carefully evaluating the 401k match, health insurance costs, and other valuable perks, you can calculate a total compensation package that gives you a true picture of the offer's value. Using this knowledge, you can confidently negotiate and choose the opportunities that will best accelerate your journey toward financial independence. Thank you for joining me. Welcome, for one last time, to 7 Simple Steps to Start Investing in Your 20s. We have been on an incredible journey together. From the first spark of understanding compound interest, all the way through setting up a fully automated, sophisticated investment machine, you have built a foundation of financial knowledge that will serve you for the rest of your life. You have the tools, the mindset, and the plan. This final chapter is not about a new tactic or another account. It's about what happens next. The world of finance is always evolving, and your own life will bring new questions and new challenges. The single greatest trait you can carry forward from this series is a commitment to being a lifelong learner. Your financial education didn't end with this series. It has just begun. In this concluding chapter, we'll discuss the importance of staying curious and provide you with some reliable resources to help you continue to learn and grow as an investor and as the CEO of your own financial life. The mindset, curiosity over complacency. The principles we've discussed, living below your means, investing consistently in low-cost, diversified funds, and staying the course, are timeless. They will likely form the bedrock of your financial success for the next 50 years. However, as you progress, new questions will arise. You'll start to think about things like, how do I invest in a tax-efficient way within my taxable brokerage account? What are the financial steps my partner and I should take before getting married? How can I optimize my finances to save for my children's education? What is the most tax-efficient way to draw down my accounts in retirement? The goal is not to have all the answers right now. The goal is to cultivate a mindset of curiosity, so that when these questions do arise, you know how to seek out reliable, unbiased information. Don't become complacent. The financial landscape changes, tax laws are updated, new investment products are created, and your own circumstances will shift. A commitment to learning for 15 or 20 minutes each week will keep your knowledge sharp and your plan optimized. Building your financial media diet. Just as we learned to tune out the sensationalist daily market noise, we also want to be intentional about the financial information we consume. Your goal is to find sources that prioritize evidence-based, long-term focused education over hype and headlines. Here are a few types of resources that can be incredibly valuable. 1. Reputable books. Many of the best lessons in finance are found in books that have stood the test of time. Reading 1 or 2 of these a year can profoundly shape your financial philosophy. A few classics that are perfect for beginners are The Simple Path to Wealth by J.L. Collins, The Psychology of Money by Morgan Housel, and I Will Teach You to Be Rich by Ramit Sethi. These books reinforce the simple, powerful concepts we've discussed in this series. 2. Quality podcasts and blogs. There is a wealth of free, high-quality financial content available. Look for creators who focus on education rather than stock tips. Blogs from reputable financial planners or podcasts that explain complex topics in simple terms can be a great way to learn during your commute or while exercising. Find a few trusted voices and follow their work. 3. Your brokerage's resources. Don't overlook the educational resources provided by your own investment company, whether it's Vanguard, Fidelity, or Charles Schwab. They have extensive libraries of articles, videos, and tools that explain everything from asset allocation to tax loss harvesting, all for free. 4. A word on financial advisors. As your wealth grows, you may reach a point where you want professional guidance. A good, fee-only fiduciary financial advisor can be a valuable partner. Fee-only means they are paid directly by you, not through commissions for selling you products. A fiduciary is legally required to act in your best financial interest. If you ever seek advice, make sure your advisor meets both of these criteria. Your greatest asset. I want to end this series by bringing us back to where we began. Your greatest financial asset is not the money in your account, the funds you choose, or the market's performance. It is time. And right now, today, you have more of it than you ever will again. By completing this series, you have given your future self a gift of unimaginable value. You have taken control of your financial destiny at the earliest and most impactful stage of your life. The simple, consistent actions you take this month, and next month, and the month after that, are the small seeds that will grow into a forest of financial security. Stay the course. Trust the simple, proven plan you have built. Be patient. Continue to learn. And know that you are on the path to building a life of freedom, choice, and abundance. It has been an absolute honor to be your guide on this journey. The 7 simple steps are now yours to own and execute. The foundation is laid, and the future is bright. Thank you for listening, and I wish you a lifetime of financial success.